Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has certain flavor and fragrance. As the flavor and fragrance or in the flower or in the earth, in the water, in the fire and air, the uncontaminable flower of original flower which permitted in everything is Krishna. Similarly, everything has particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhavasya means fire. Without fire, we cannot run the factories. They cannot cook, and that fire is Krishna. The heat is fire is Krishna. According to the Vedic medicine, uh, according to the Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to our low temperature in the belly. So even for the digestion, fire is needed. In the Krishna consciousness, we become aware. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware to earth, water, fire, and every active principle are chemical and material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it life or diminish it life. So Krishna consciousness is active in every share. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original. Know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prose of the powerful prose of all powerful men. Bija means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move but only stand. Every entity is contained within the 8 million 400,000 species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, he seed of their life in Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the Supreme Absolute Truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Para Brahman, the Supreme Spirit. Brahman is impersonal, and Para Brahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, originally, Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of the maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of the things, maintains everything in the material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Nitya Nityanam, Chaitana Chaitananam, Eka Bahunam, Yovedadati Kaman. He is the prime eternal amongst all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and the alone he is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. I am the strength of the strong, the void, the passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles. O Lord of the Bharats Arjuna. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life according to the religious principles should be for the propagation of children, not for otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna consciousness. Know that I am stage of being. Goodness, passion, ignorance, material energy. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in sense everything. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modus of material nature, but for they one contrary are within me. All material activities in the world, all material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modus of material nature. Although this material modus of nature is emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them, but instance under the state law one may be punished, but the king and lawmaker is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance as emanation from the Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that the gunas or modes, although issuing from him, then do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristic of Bhagavan, of Supreme Personality of Godhead. God. Deluded by three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who 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 am above the modes and inexhausted, inexhaustible, inexhaustible. The Lord, the whole world is enchanged by the modus of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand the transcendental to this material nature is the supreme Lord Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and particular type of philosophical and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning and three material modes of nature. Those who are purity in those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmans. Those who are purely in the modes of passion is called Kshatriyas. Those who are in mode of both passion and ignorance is called Vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras, and those who are less than that are animal or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. I may either be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. However, in any case, his life is temporary. But although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, but by the spell of this illusory energy, they consider ourselves in terms of the bodily conception of life, and we thus think that we are American, Indian, Russian, Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, and if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, when we forget the supreme personality of Godhead who is behind all these modes. So Lord Krishna says that the living entity deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the supreme personality of Godhead. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, and each and every one of them under the influence of material nature, and all them have forgotten the transcendental personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion are ignorant, and even those who are in the mode of goodness cannot be beyond of impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord and His personal feature, which possesses us beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation, when even those who are goodness cannot understand what hope is for those in passion and ignorance. Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness activity liberated. The Supreme Personality, this divine energy of mind, consisting the divine energy of mind consisting of three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered into me can easily cross beyond it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entity is a part of his energies, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities, a part of his energies, are therefore divine. Due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. The beings that's covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both of material and spiritual natures being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead are eternal. These living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to contamination of the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya Baddha, or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of the becoming conditioned. No one can trace out the history of the becoming conditioned or certain data material history. Consequently, his realize from the platters of material nature is very difficult, even though then material nature is inferior energy, becomes material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to the divine connection and movement by divine will. Being conducted by divine will, being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyam mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya illusion is false or temporary, the background of Maya, the supreme Magikan, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, is supreme controller. Another meaning of guna is robe. It is so be understood that the conditioned soul is tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot be himself a must of helped by a person who is in doubt, because the bound cannot help the bound, the square must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can realize the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such realize. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, can order his Krishna, being the Lord of illusory energy, can order thus this insurmountable energy to realize the conditioned souls. He orders his release out of his causeless mercy in the superior surrendered soul, and out his parental affection for the living entity who is originally in the beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender into the lotus feet of the Lord is also means to get free from the clutches of strengthless material nature. Nature. The word mom, the words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means Anto Krishna Vishnu only. Mam means unto Krishna only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated, although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost one on level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajaguna passion and Tamaguna ignorance to realize the conditioned soul from the clutters of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, the... вам слышно, да? Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditional soul. The Vedas confirm this is a price. The freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, there is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Those who miscreants are miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among the mankind, those whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, or who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender to me. It is said that the Bhagavad Gita that it is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself into the lotus feet of it is said in Bhagavad Gita simply by surrendering oneself into the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Krishna, Supreme Personality Krishna, one can surmount the strange laws of material nature. At this point is question arises. At this point a question arises. How is it that educated philosophers, scientists, these businessmen, administrators, and all leaders, ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all-powerful personality of Godhead? Mukti, or liberation from the law of material nature, is sound. The better leaders of mankind is different ways and will great plans of representation for the great many years are birth. But that liberation is possible by simply surrendering into the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders about this simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahlada, Bali, and later on Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others, who are faithful philosophers, politic, politicans, educators, science, surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosopher, science educator, administrator, ethica, but those who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans of consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts of solve them. Because material energy nature is so powerful, it it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists, are baffled of knowledge of planning commissions. The atheistic plan makers are described herein. The atheistic plan makers are described herein by the word dushkritinach or miscreants. Kriti means one who has performed meritorious work. And все, вам слышно. The atheistic plan makers are described. The atheistic plan makers are described herein by word dushkritinach, miscreants. Kriti means are those one who has performed meritorious work. The atheistic plan makers is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must be take intelligent to execute. But because the atheistic brain is improperly utilized, the opposing plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker, is called dushkriti, which indicates that he is intelligent and efforts as misdirected. In the Gita is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully. In the Gita is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. It has no independent authority. It works as shadow moves, as accordance with the movement of the object, but still material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he knows the plan of Supreme Lord. Under illusion and the modus of passion and ignorance, all his plans are baffled as a cause of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, and as in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, those plans were smashed to dust. Although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administration, and educators. These dushkritinas or miscreants are four different patterns of outlines below. The mudhas are those who are grossly foolish, like. Okay, this is this page. 385. Here only here I stopped here. Thank you very much. Here. 750. Page 385. Thank you very much, everyone.